Okay, guys, so moving on to the next question. This is a rather, I would say, a little different question than all the others because it asks us to compare 10 to the power 10 and 2 to the power 34. Which one is bigger, right? So, the first approach which anybody would think of, right, seeing the question, is that since this is 10 to the power 10, that means 10 zeros after 1, right? This can easily be taken out. I mean, even thought mentally. But if you talk about 2 to the power 34, you can calculate it, but if you keep calculating it, after a certain point, it becomes really complex, right? Because 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, 34 times, I mean, it's not possible. And even in the exam, you're given a basic calculator in which around 7 to 8 digits can fill in. So even on the calculator, you cannot do this, right? So you have to think of some other way where you can figure out if this is greater or this is greater, right? So just hear me out, right? What I'll be doing right now. And in any of such questions which you encounter, you have to follow a similar approach. Okay. So now what we'll be doing over here is that we'll be trying to break this down into a number such that both of the numbers are very close to each other or comparable. Now, what I mean by that is that, for instance, we talk about 10 to the power 10, right? So for 10 to the power 10, if I talk about, think of some power of 10 which is close to some power of 2. Now, what I mean by that is that, for example, we know 10 to the power 3 is 1000, right? 10 to the power 3 is 1000, okay? Okay, perfect. Now, I want you to think of a power of 2 which is close to 1000. So, if you do 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, and then 1024, right? So 1024 is very close to 1000. So 2 to the power 10 is equals to 1024, right? So any such question you encounter, you have to first think of some number in the form of power of this and this, which are very close to each other. Okay. Now the next step is to break this into this. So we have to break 10 to the power 10 into groups of 10 to the power 3, right? So how can we write 10 to the power 10? So 10 to the power 10 is equals to 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power 3, right? Now 3 plus 3 plus 3, 6 plus 3, 9. So one more. So into 10 to the power 1, right? So this is something which can be written. I hope this is clear, right? Uh, I don't think there should be any problem in this, right? Similarly, we have to write 2 to the power 34 in groups of 2 to the power 10, right? So 2 to the power 34 is equals to 2 to the power 10 into 2 to the power 10 into 2 to the power 10, 10 plus 10 plus 10, 30. So what is left is 4. So into 2 to the power 4, right? Okay, perfect. Now, what I want you to do is that just look both of these two equations very carefully, right? If you see this is 1000, 10 to the power 3. This is also 1000, this is also 1000, right? In this, if you see, this is 2 to the power 10, which is 1024. This is also 1024 and this is also 1024, right? So in these three terms and in these three terms, obviously this one is greater because 1024 into 1024 into 1024 as compared to 1000 into 1000 into 1000, right? So this part is greater and this part is smaller, right? These three terms. Now in the smaller term, you multiply one more 10, right? And in this greater term, you multiply 2 to the power 4, which is 16. Now 16 is again bigger than 10. So overall, this part becomes much more greater than this part, and this part becomes smaller, right? Because we are multiplying 10 to a smaller number and we are multiplying 16 to a greater number, and 16 is greater than 10. So overall this part becomes much more bigger than this, right? So we have our answer that this part is bigger than this, so this is bigger than this, right? So your answer becomes B. I hope this is clear. Again, just let me tell you, if you look at this question, you have to think of a way where you can get a number in the form of a power which is very similar and comparable. Then what you do is that you break this number down in groups of this. So 10 to the power 3 into 3 into 3, this is 9. What is left? 1. So we wrote 10 to the power 1. Similarly, we broke this into 2 to the power 10. So 2 to the power 10 into 10 into 10, this is 10 plus 10 plus 10, 30. 34 minus 30 is 4. So we wrote down 4. Then we can just basically see that this part is smaller and this part is greater. We multiply 10, we multiply 16, obviously 16 is greater. So again, this part becomes much more greater than this. So this is greater. So B is the answer. I hope this is clear.